Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hello! Welcome to Question Reality. I'm Priscilla Leona. I'm producer and host of this show, and we are coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. Now, for 14 years, we have been providing our audience with entertainment and industry career advice. So this show is for you if you're questioning your career reality. See how I threw that in there? Oh, spit on words. And it specifically about pursuing a career in show business. But if you're already working in the entertainment industry and you just need some advice or information on how to elevate your status, then this show again is for you, because our guest really can give great advice and tips for you. Now, the guests on our show include, wonder if you can hear that. I'm hearing dinging. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I got my phone next to me and it's dinging and there's text coming in and all kinds of craziness. I hope you can hear that on that end. Some of the guests, again, included on our show, we have Emmy Award winners, we have Grammy Award winners, we have Tony Award winners, we have reality TV stars, and just a wide variety of working show business professionals. And some of them include film and television, music, radio producers and directors. We have casting directors, literary agents, casting. Did I say casting agent? No, I said casting director. We have casting agents too. We have PR agents, screenwriters, of course, actors, some of our faves. Actors, we have comedians, singers, novelists, script supervisors, stunt people. I love bringing behind the scenes people on. So if you are listening and you work behind the scenes like a production assistant or part of the crew, please contact me, because I want more behind the scenes people. There are so many cool jobs. A lot of people move out here and they want to be stars. They want to be an actor or a singer. And then after a while, they decide, you know what? I don't want to do that. I think a cool job is being a script supervisor, or I want to be assistant director. I want to direct. So I really would love more people behind the scenes. So if you can refer someone, that would be fantastic. If you missed any of our shows, here are 3 ways that you can listen to them. App Store, or of course the Google Play Store. Number 2, we are on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Amazon Podcasts, Google, Audible.com, Stitcher.com. Just Google Question Reality Radio Show or my name and you will find us everywhere. Last archive page, number 3, you can listen directly from the website to any of our shows. If you're listening right now, you're already there. You just have to scroll down and look for the show title, Question Reality, or look for my name, and we have shows from 2008. Amazing people have been on. I just take a peek and you'll definitely want to listen to the interviews. Favor, we have a favor we need to ask you. We kindly ask, I think begging is really the thing now with people, with this little to our podcast via the Apple Podcasts, and also to please give us a little like and a follow on all of our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, and under my name, Priscilla Leona, because as I tell you guys every week, branding is so important in this business. When you're starting out, pick a name that you're going to keep. Don't try to get cute and do any cute little names, because people are not going to find you. Try to keep it your name or something that you feel is going to be professional and consistent. So a little tip for you. Finally, if you want to be booked on the show to promote and showcase your talents, current, upcoming projects or products that you have that you want to sell, and also if you want to help listeners by providing much appreciated entertainment industry career advice, which is what we're all about. We will promote your projects, but we need some tips, advice, and resource information in exchange. That's our deal here. Please go to our official website, which is, got to listen carefully, focus, questionrealityradioshow.com. questionrealityradioshow.com, not the website that you're listening to us on now, which is obviously latalkradio.com. This is the website where we air our show. So again, please go to questionreality.com. And that's where you can also see our annual guest schedule. You might want to go there and take a peek at who the upcoming guests are, what their professional careers are, so that you can make sure that if that's a career you want to pursue, you will be able to get some great. So our website, Question Reality Radio Show, just click the contact link. Very, very easy, very short. We just need your name, email, title, and website. That's it. Yeah, that's it. All right, let's move on to the show with our guest. But first, oh my gosh, I wasn't going to, I don't do advertisements on this show. But last night, I went to see my friend Rita Taryn, who is one of the most phenomenal opera singers you will ever hear. And she was performing at this really cool place. It's called Jeweled Universe. It's Jeweled Universe store. I don't know where I was. My husband drives. I never know. I think it was in Sherman Oaks or Burbank or Pasadena. I don't know. But the website, you can go on a brand, a big promoter of branding. So Jeweled Universe, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. She is all branded up. And her name is Diana March. And I was so impressed with this lady. She has Earth. Okay, check this out. Earth, sea, space-inspired jewelry and clothes and candles. And this is like a super cool bohemian chic store. And last night I lost my mind. I swear to God, she had rare gems, minerals, meteorites, crystals and fossils and artifacts and all these ocean elements. Now, of course, my question was, where the heck does she get this unlimited supply of meteorites? Still a mystery to me, but I was just so enamored with things. I don't want anything in her store. But I settled for these little silver darling rings that have inner rings that spin. So you can have something if you get bored, you're in a conversation, you're like, oh my God, how much can this narcissist talk to me? I get stuck with narcissists all the time. I don't know about you, but you can just twist those rings. It's really great. It'll relieve anxiety and stress. So you got to check out this store. It is a Priscilla Leona pick. You know how I have picks once in a while, but I have to be very super impressed to do a Priscilla Leona pick. Maybe I should call it a Priscilla pick. I think that rolls better. It's a Priscilla pick. So again, I am not associated with this store at all. I do not do payola over here. I just will tell you about it and you want to go, but nobody else is advertised for my own yet. So Jeweled Universe, check it out. All right. Woohoo! We are on to the main event. Kitty Swink is a film, theater, actress, producer, audition, and set coach. And what I was most intrigued by is that she is an audition and set coach, because I've never had anyone discuss that. And we are going to find out, what the heck does an audition and set coach do? This is amazing. I love this. So this sounds like a cool job. I think I'd like doing this myself. So among the many very fascinating things about Kitty is that so we got to get this out of the way. She is married, and I wasn't going to bring this up, but I cannot believe that when she was referred to me by a very mine, and I was speaking with her, that's when I found out, I think, maybe Mary Lou told me, but I found out she was married to Armin Shimmerman. And Armin Cameron, of course, as everyone should know if you are into sci-fi, was our very first and my favorite Ferengi. Honestly, I tell you no lie, I cannot believe that she's married to my favorite Ferengi. Okay, so he starred on Star Trek, The Next Generation, as Letak, and then I saw him as Quark. I did not see him. My husband introduced me to all of this sci-fi stuff. I really wasn't into it prior to him introducing, but he was Quark when I was turned on to him, and I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. Oh, I want to rub those ears. Oh, I want to nibble on little ears. And Kitty also appeared in 2 episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine with her husband, and then which we're going to find out about. We're going to find out what, that whole scene and what went down and how she liked it. And maybe we'll get a little funny story. Kitty also produced the web series Riley. I believe it's Para, could be Para. We'll ask her. And this garnered 2, not 1, but 2 Emmy nominations. How many people do you know in the entertainment business that have done that, right? That is so super impressive to me. So, I mean, win or not win, I mean, it's great to be nominated. I'm going to do a Sally Field here and change the words. They nominated me. They nominated me. That is awesome to me. What also you will be very interested in finding out, and we're going to discuss this in the latter part of the show, but Kitty is a 17-year survivor of pancreatic cancer, and she is a very proud spokesperson for the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. So we're going to find out about that organization, and maybe possibly you can donate, whatever you feel. But please go to her sites and give her a little thumb. It's a sad thing that we need thumbs these days, but we gotta ask for the thumbs. She is on Facebook at Kitty Swink. That's KITTYSWINK. On Instagram at Kitty Swink, and Twitter, somebody else must have had her name, but branding. She's pleasing me with keeping it consistent. So without further ado, let's meet this wild, fascinating woman. Welcome to the show, Kitty Swink.
Well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm not watching the Oscars today.
Well, I produced the SAG Awards for a couple of seasons, and I maybe stop watching award shows. There you go.
Yeah, you know what goes on behind the scene, and it burns you out, didn't it?
You know, they're great. It's just exhausting. And so I gave them up.
Oh, I don't blame you. It really is. People do not, when you go to an event, Kitty, right, and you see the beautiful atmosphere and the ambiance and things run smoothly, a bunch of buddies actually made that happen. They take it for granted, and most people don't give credit to the behind the scenes people, but that's really hard, demanding work. Tell us a little bit about what is in demand with producing these SAG shows.
Well, it's a very long time ago that I did it, but I was a vice president of the Screen Actors Guild at the time, and I joined the committee that was producing the show. We had professional producers online, but that we had hired, but there was a committee of us who did a lot of things. And at the beginning, we were trying to find the style of the show and the sense of the show and the whole vision of I am an actor and how important it was that the show was actors giving awards to actors, unlike any other award show. So that became the essence of it. But there's all kinds of things to do. And we had an incredible staff. We had incredible caterers. We had incredible partners in every way. And the actors who joined us were terrific. But it's a bunch of work, and I don't want to do it anymore. So there you go.
Girl, I know. I plan my husband's, I do my own birthday party planning because I micromanage. I got to admit it. I'm a micromanager. I like things done a specific way. So I always do my own birthday parties and my husband's parties. And that usually I am so exhausted by the time it comes. I don't think I enjoy it as much as everyone else. It is something, and I'm also a film producer, so I have to do a lot of things. You've got to really be an organized person with a certain mindset. It feels to be about that, but let's move on. Whoa,
Okay.
well, Armin Shimmerman. Now, girl, you know that we have to get it out of the way and discuss how lucky, cool, and a thrill it is to be married to this man. Our first and favorite for ringing on Star Trek Next Generation. Tell me what it's like.
He was a regular on Deep Space Nine. He did 4 or 5 episodes of Next Generation.
Okay.
1 episode of Voyager and a scene from a movie that got cut. But yes, he was a regular on Deep Space Nine. I was married to him for so much longer before he did the show.
Yeah, 1981, May 1981, you got married.
Oh, are you good? Yes, we have been married for almost 41 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my God. My husband and I just had our anniversary, 26 years, May 23rd. And I'm like, well, I am not happy with getting a Cadbury bar and some flowers. I want those damn silver rings. So fork up the money now. But yeah, so when I saw that you had gotten married in 81, I'm like, oh my God, I was just trying to beg my mother to let me wear makeup back then. And you were already walking down the aisle and enjoying your life. Do you know how successful that is for you and Armin to be in the entertainment industry and stay married that long? My God, that in itself, I think they should have some marriage awards, don't you?
Well, you know what? I am part of a community of people that have been married a really long time who are in the entertainment industry. We have a lot of dear friends that are that way. And I can't tell you, I think that's the way to go. Great.
Yeah, normal, relationship, like, my mom's a doctor and my stepfather is a lawyer, and, try to stay together with those two occupations, let alone the entertainment industry, where, you have a lot of egos, you have like high tempers going on. So, yeah, you are a Hollywood success story. They should do a whole reality TV show on you and Armin. I'm going to suggest it. Now, let's talk about you appeared on 2 episodes of was it Star Trek Deep Space Nine?
Yes.
So we have to know what that experience was like. Like, what do you remember most? Any funny stories? What can you tell us?
Well, it was like in the first place, Armin wasn't ever on camera with me. So, and I also did one of the Star Trek games, which was really fun. And I do have a funny story about that. But it was like any other job I had on television. The only difference is I knew everybody, which was great. You walk in, you know everybody. It's like being a recurring character. You instantly are part of the family. And that's so joyful and relaxing. And I like the Star Trek family. I like them a lot. I've gotten to work over the years with a lot of very different members of it. Jonathan Frakes, who people know from Next Generation, who played Riker, number 1, directed an episode I did of now that's just terrible. I can't say the name of the show, and they've just rebooted and it's on TV. Anyway, he directed this episode, and he had Armin on for a day. I was there for 3 days. Brent Spiner was there for a few days. It was kind of great because it was family. We were all part of the family. So that is a continuing part of my life, is that once you make dear friends in the entertainment industry, you hope and are lucky when you get to keep working with them. It's great. It's great. True. Now, when I did the game, a friend of mine who's a very big voiceover actor, Paul Eiding, was in the booth ahead of me, and he was playing a character who's a Vorta, which is one of the characters I play on Star Trek. And he said, can somebody tell me what a Vorta is? And I happened to be sitting in the director's booth with Chris Zimmerman, who was directing the game. And she said, "Do you know what a Vorta is?" I said, "Yes, I'm a Vorta. They're obsequious and polite and really evil." And and Jeff and she said, "Paul, you're obsequious, polite, and evil." He said, "I can do that," and he was divine. So there you go.
Damn, that's a lot to absorb. Those three personality traits to absorb that so fast. Wow. Yeah. Must be a guest star. You often appear as so many different cool characters. Like, I would think it would be great to do. You did like a smart-ass judge. You were a wise doctor. You were a shark of a lawyer. I mean, being able to do all of those different characters. I mean, sci-fi fans know you from the Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5, I believe. If I'm wrong, correct me. But it has to be so much fun to be a character actress. Now, who was the absolute best or your favorite film or television character to portray, and why?
Wow, that's a tough question. Every character has a different thing that you love about them, or fascinated about them, or are hard to crack the code on. So what would I really do think of myself as a stage actress and not as a film and television actress, although I've been lucky to work on film and television quite a bit. I did a show. It was David Chase, who created The Sopranos, first series that he was the creator of, with my friend Eve Gordon was playing the lead, and the two of us were business partners, and I loved them because I loved that character because the two of them had such a tight relationship, and they were so fun together. And it was a show called Almost Grown, so you moved back and forth in time. You met Eve and her husband, played by Tim Daly, in their college years, but you also met them in their young married years, and then after they were separated, and it went back forth and back. That was another show that was hardly ever seen. It was TNT's first scripted 1-hour series, and I played a woman who was a publicist on Wall Street, Bibi. Her name was Bibi, and I loved her. And the first day that I worked on that show, the director said, "We're going to do a 7-page oneer," which, for people who don't know what that is, you shot it as a walk and talk all in one piece. You didn't break it up like you do with a regular television job. They did a couple little pickup shots, but to spend the morning rehearsing and the afternoon shooting it all in one piece, it was like being on stage again because you were rehearsed. It was liquid. There was flow to it. That was pretty divine. Not the things that you would think maybe I would say, because they weren't shows that were hits. The episode I did that Jonathan Frakes directed, he's a wonderful guy and a wonderful director, but here's what he did. I was playing a smart-ass judge, as I quite often do, and there was a series regular on the jury and a guest star on the jury, and everybody else was an extra. And Jonathan treated those extras with such extraordinary respect that the first day in the trial room, he called each jury member in one at a time, named their names, and welcomed them to the set. And everybody in the crew and all the rest of us as actors applauded them coming in. And those extras for those 3 days were so involved and inspired and excited that it made it great. It was a great working atmosphere. So not because of what I got to do on that show, but because I watched somebody that I care about do something so magnanimous and so smart. That was one of my favorite days on a set.
I'm glad you said that, because I feel the same way. I used to, because I believe that you should start from the bottom and work up. So I was an extra in so many projects, and I remember seeing so many things. Some directors didn't even acknowledge them. Sometimes we were treated like cattle, and they would throw a bag of chips at us. I remember that, but specifically, I was on Boston Public, and I was just doing my thing. He just said it was directed by Mark Harmon, right, from NCIS.
Right.
No, was it? Yeah, NCIS. And he just said, okay, I would love you guys to emote, and you need to do this and that and that. So I followed the instructions. Right? Well, little did I know, when we went to break, he came over to me, Kitty, and he put his hand on my shoulder, and he said, great job, Priscilla, great job. He didn't do it to anyone else. I was on cloud nine, girl. I was like, what? He noticed me because, Boston Public was a bunch of people. We were in an auditorium, and it was a situation, and I just couldn't believe it. And he was so nice to every one of the extras. Another project, what is that? With Danny DeVito, I was an extra there, and it was directed by the Wonder Years boy. He wasn't a boy. What is his name, Kitty? I can't even remember. What's his name? The one with. No, that's all right. Well, the little Wonder Boy kid, he was directing the episode, and Danny DeVito, of course. I can't. Sunshine. DeVito. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. There you go. So I had a featured extra part. I was this Russian worker, and of course, Danny DeVito had all of us working for free, all these little Russian immigrant women, and I was just doing my scene, and I guess I did a great job because Fred Savage, that's who it was. Fred Savage came up to me and he said, Priscilla, you really did a great job. He said, have you thought about maybe pursuing a career as an actor? And I'm like, oh no, I can't remember any lines. And it's true, Kitty. I don't know. I swear to God, I can remember one word. I can rock one line, but I cannot do a monologue to save my life. Mary Lou Bella has me in her classes every year, and she really thinks that I'm great at comedy. She said, you have the ability to, be a sitcom actress, but I cannot remember a damn line to save my life. I don't know what it is. Some people can't. I was talking to Johnny Depp, and he said the same thing. He said when he first started, he could not memorize his lines because he didn't even have any training. So what is your tip for, extras who want to, move up to being an actor, but they have the worst time memorizing lines? Because you are an audition and set coach. What would you say, Kitty?
Well, that's an interesting question that nobody's ever asked me. I suppose that you have to think the character's thoughts, and if you're thinking the character's thoughts, the lines will stay with you.
I like that. So, yeah, you got to become the character. That's so hard for me. I just want to say my own stuff.
You are your own character. You are your own character. And wait, I remembered the name of the show that I did with Jonathan. It was called Leverage. It's a wonderful show. Yeah.
I remember Leverage. And it's very difficult for actors to get to learn lines. I don't know how they do it, especially when they have long, a lot of dialogue, but that's a good tip. Now, you worked in what my love, because my aunt was an actress on Broadway, not like a famous one. She was a character actress, and she was in Cats. She was in, Hair. And so I, of course, am from the East Coast, and I love theater. I used to direct a little community theater, nothing big, but a little community theater, and I loved it. So you've done extensive physical act. So what I love that you said, and I also always tell this to beginning actors, is to start or continue to do theater because it definitely makes you better a better actor for every medium. And I believe I read somewhere that that is something you said. So can you share this perspective? Can you please give us an expert's opinion on this perspective?
It's easy for me to say that because it's my first love as an artist. My first love is acting on the stage, and I was the artistic director of Antia's Theater Company for a long time. I love the theater, but why I like it as an artist, why it feeds me, is because when you're doing film or television, or you're behind a microphone, which I've oddly done a lot of dramatic podcasts this year, which has been great fun. But in all of those cases, everybody else is more important than you. You have to wait for everybody else. It's the camera's job. It's the director's job. It's the editor's job. And when you're on a stage and you have the words of great playwrights, it's you and the audience becomes the other character, and it's a shared relationship. You can feel the audience with you. You can hear them cry or laugh or move them to tears, and they have the ability to do that back for you. It's an extraordinary relationship, and I think that's what art is about. It's the commutative property. It's the back and forth between the creator of the art and the receiver of the art and the relationship between the two of them. And that's why I think acting on stage is so thrilling. It feeds your soul in a way that nothing else does.
Now, I agree with you 100%. Oh my God, I gotta tell you, I was in Grapes of Wrath. Right, a little part in there at the beginning. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but in the beginning, sure. I had a scene, and oh my God, I loved it. And then I was in Three Men on a Horse. I love that. And then I was in, I swear to God, I cannot remember what it was, but he just had me do my own lines. He's like, he wanted to cast me in a certain role. It was a Jewish play. It was about a Holocaust victim. I believe Rosanna was the character, but I could not remember the line. So he said, well, I'm putting you in here. Okay, in the beginning, we'll have you do this. And he just created a little part for me. It wasn't even in the play because he wanted me to get that experience, which I really appreciated and I love so much. So he, as a theater directors are just so impressive to me. So I wanted to ask you, what did you learn from a theater director or producer that you've still kept in your skill set toolbox? Any tips for theater actors?
Probably the most important thing that any actor can do, theater, film, television, radio, whatever it is to listen. When you think about it, when you think about what makes somebody attractive in your life, it's if they listen to you, if they get you, if they hear you, if they see you. And so if you do that on stage, it not only anchors you to the play itself, but it also anchors you to the audience. They're attracted, they're absorbed by the fact that you're listening, that you're paying attention, that you're involved. It's flattering. We all want to be flattered in life. And there's a wonderful director in LA named Cameron Watson, and I've worked with him as an actor, and I've on stage, and he's coached me for a couple of auditions over the years, and we're dear friends. And I watch him train new actors and teach them to listen, and it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. And it sounds like a simple thing to do, but I think it's the hardest thing for an actor to do because we're so worried about all the other stuff and being good and being right and grabbing the pencil at the right moment and all those things. But if you're listening, it's exciting. Now, the other thing I would say, because I'm married to Armin Shimmerman, who's a Shakespeare scholar, is you have to really investigate the text, the plays, the thing. So the thing I would say, Armin is only an actor. He's also a director. He directed Measure for Measure and Crucible for Antia's, for instance, which was the theater that I was the artistic director of. He's an extraordinary director, and he loves language. So theater is a language-based experience. Maybe that's why I like it so well. And so those two things I would say more than anything else. The play's the thing, and listen. Listen.
Yes. And in theater, I learned that you have to project. So, for example, in theater, you have to really, really project so that the back of the audience can hear and feel your emotions. However, people, get that theater experience, because it really it'll titillate you more than anything, because people want that instant gratification that you get when you hear them clap and you hear like sighs and all kinds of things happen in the theater, right? So, however, when you transition to film or television, projecting is a problem. You got to bring it down, but it's better to project and be able to bring it down than to not have it and try to learn how to project. So you will learn that theater, right?
True.
That's
great. True.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a great thing, because when you're on film and television, you can't be screaming, "Alas! Here, whatever the heck they do." And you know how dramatic they are in the Shakespeare plays, but you can't be doing that, because people think you're a nut job and you're gone by lunch. You'll get your free lunch and then you're off the set. But that is something that you really do need to learn, and you start with theater first, I would say. Now, I have a nation. Let's talk about that. Now, you produce the website. Is it Riley Para or Para?
Riley Para. It's a web series. We did 2 seasons. Yeah.
How did this Emmy nomination happen? I want to know. That is so impressive. Please, first, let's start with this. Tell us what the web series was about. Did you star in it? And is it playing on any of the major podcasting platforms?
You can watch it on Tello Films. I think that's where it's living right now. It might live someplace else, but it's on Tello, Tello Films, which is a lesbian web series and film producers. That's what they do. It is based on a series of books by a gentleman named John Cannon, Geonn, Cannon, and it's about a woman who's a cop who is anointed in some way that she doesn't really know until the beginning of the first season to be a protector of people who need to be protected from the dark side. She has been protected as a young person and was marked by her original mentor, and she's a cop, and she falls in love with a doctor in the first season. Those two women were Liz Vassy was the doctor, and Miriam Hassler was our Riley, and an angel comes to her, and I don't want to give away the plot. An angel comes to her, Samael, also somebody that I hired from Star Trek, Connor Trinneer, was divine in the part, and he was just awesome. But the angel maybe is a little conflicted, and there's going to be a fight between good and evil. There you go.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Now, did you go to the Emmys because you were nominated? Did you go?
We did not go. I did not go to the Emmys because I was out of town. So it was the daytime Emmy, so it wasn't quite as fancy schmancy. But the season 2 had 2 actors nominations, and they went to the Emmys with my producing partner, and she was also the director, Kristen Baker, who I am actually having lunch with tomorrow. There you go.
Woo! Well, you can bring it up and have some fond memories. Bring it up and talk about it. We only have like 5 minutes. I want to get this in. Star Trek conventions. Let's talk about the super fun stuff. Are you talking about, because you said you have so much fun at these conventions, are you talking about Comic-Con? How much fun are they? Do you have a booth, or do you do guest star speeches? Are all the franchise stars there? Tell me.
It depends on the convention. I've only been to Comic-Con once. Comic-Con is so big that it makes me anxious.
I know.
It's too many people for me. Although there's some really big conventions that I've been to, particularly in Europe and Las Vegas. Yes, there's franchise stars there. You usually do a talk with the audience, and they can ask you questions. That's great. You sign autographs. You take pictures with people. Here's the thing I like about Star Trek conventions. I like Star Trek fans. They like science. They're generous. They're smart, and they're funny. How much can you not like that?
I know, and the costumes, they're so elaborate, and the makeup, you feel like you're on another planet, right? I love Comic-Con, but it does, I agree with you about the anxiety. We actually bought tickets about 5 years ago, paid for tickets. We get down there, and we couldn't even find a parking space for like 2 miles. So I said, forget it. We ended up going to Sizzler. It was just, we're like, forget that. I can't deal with it. So specifically, at any of the conventions, have you run into William Shatner, Captain Kirk?
Of course.
Now,
we
all right.
We all share a big green room. We all see each other.
Oh.
It's always a great chance. It's always a reunion. We see our friends. We hang out with them. If I'm hanging around with Jonathan Frakes and Brent Spiner and Michael Dorn and those guys, it's great. What could be bad about it?
My friend, Stephen Levine, he has a big PR company, big PR guy. He was just telling me that he just celebrated Bill's birthday. William Shatner. He turned 91. So he said they had a lot of fun. I posted it on my stories, but he said that William Shatner is the best. He said, I have no idea why people are saying bad things about him. He's funny. He's professional. He has the best stories. I mean, I said, oh, it's jealousy. They're just jealous of the captain. But, Steven says he's really a fantastic guy, and he loves doing all of his PR. So, all right, let's move on. Set coach, just briefly, what is the position of a set coach, and what is the position of an audition coach?
It depends on the set you're on, how much they want you to do. But, and I've been a set coach for a long time on television series where I was trying to get my DGA card, and if the show got picked up, I would direct an episode. Never happened. There you go. I quit doing it. But I still sometimes go in and set coach for a specific thing. You help people learn their lines. Sometimes it's a director who says, can you get such and such out of them? I don't have time. And I'll go, sure. Sometimes it's just being there and holding people's. It's really different. I worked on a movie that I was a actor on in Louisiana a couple of years ago, and I ended up putting the Cajun accent into everybody's mouth. So I became not just a set coach, but
dialogue coach.
Well, not just a dialect coach.
Dialect.
Yeah. So that was interesting and fun. Audition coach. It depends. I have people that I coach who've had a bunch of television series and they just want to work out before they walk into the room. And then I have people who are brand new and trying to get into graduate school, and we really go through the material and we try and find the right auditions, and we work on the text very specifically, and it's different for every single person you work with. I have some extraordinary actors that you'd go, oh, they use a coach, but they just need to say it out loud because you can't see yourself. And then I have people who are starting out, and it works both ways.
Girl, I need to Velcro you to my side and take you with me so you can help me learn some lines if I ever decide to go back out on the circuit. Okay. Because I cannot remember my lines. You'll have to be standing there with some, what are they called, crib notes, or you'll have to have like those big cards like they used to have. All lines. I can't do it.
Now that most auditions are on video, now you tape yourself most of the time. You can just use a teleprompter app.
Yeah, I know. I've done a couple of those. I love those because you mess up, you can do it again. I think it's called EcoCast, right, on Actors Access, and
Yeah, but you can use that, but there's lots of them. I like walking into a room. I like the feeling of walking into a room.
yeah.
I want to audition in person, and it's just the last couple of months that started to happen again, and it made me so happy.
I know.
Yeah.
We're getting back in the groove. We're almost there. We're almost back in the day. Now let's talk serious about you. You're a 17-year survivor of pancreatic cancer and a
18 years.
spokesperson.
18 years.
How 18 years now. And you're also a spokesperson for the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. So first of all, let me tell you how happy I am to hear you're a survivor. I mean, that is one of, I think, and you can correct me, but I think it's one of the top 4 cancers that will take you out very fast. Like after you're diagnosed, you just literally can have days, sometimes months. But so first, how did you find out that you even had pancreatic cancer? Are there any signs? What are the symptoms?
One of the problems with pancreatic cancer is that by the time you're symptomatic, it's often too late. Cecily Adams, God rest her soul, who people may know as Moogie on Star Trek, the daughter of Don Adams, and she was a very successful casting director, was in the hospital with lung cancer, and her childhood nanny was visiting her, and I was visiting her, and her nanny said, "Don't worry about Cecily, worry about yourself." And I had lower back pain, and I was losing weight, and I think, as you know, I am quite skinny to begin with, so losing weight is not usually something I want to do. It's just I'm naturally skinny. And I was getting thinner and thinner, and so I came home and I said to Armin, Cess's nanny said I should, and he said, you should, and I called my doctor on a Thursday. They called me the next morning and said, we've had a cancellation, can you come in right now? Over the weekend, my urine turned brown. On Monday, this is a terrible story, I went to the funeral for a friend of mine's son, and by the time I got home, there was a call from my doctor saying, you have to go to Cedars right now. Your kidneys and your liver are shutting down. Oh. And I did, and 17 days later, I came out of Cedars-Sinai Hospital having had a Whipple surgery, which is they took half my stomach, a big chunk of my pancreas, my gallbladder, a couple of feet of my intestines, and 28 lymph nodes. 3 weeks later, I started chemo, and then I did radiation and more chemo. And what I didn't know, because my oncologist, who I love, Bob Decker, said to me, you're not a statistic. Don't think you're a statistic. You're an individual. I had a 3% chance of surviving 5 years. I am the luckiest girl in America, which is why I volunteer my time and donate money to this organization, because they have changed the chances for people in the future. The possibility is up to 11% if you're operable. It can be longer. It's wonderful. They have made a big difference in the years that I have been involved with them, and I can't thank them enough. And they don't just support the patients and the doctors, but they support the patients' families. Amazing.
Oh my God, that is amazing. Now, you just had a Facebook post that I saw about the crew of the USS Aaron Eisenberg, and apparently they're helping fundraise for the pancreatic cancer research, right?
Yes.
And it's you, Armin, Jonathan Frakes. Yeah. And so how is this? How can people? I mean, if you're a fan of Star Trek and you'd like some of the incentives involved with your donation, I think it's LLAP. How can people donate? How can people help?
If you go to pancan.org or Purple Stride at pancan.org and go to Trek Against Pancreatic Cancer, you're going to find us. And there's Jonathan and Armin and I always have a little competition going on our team. So if you want to help one of them, that's totally okay. But I'm way ahead of them, so that's all right.
Oh my God, I love that it's a competition. I'm Team Kitty Cat, so I'm gonna go there. I want to know how to become Team Kitty Cat. So let us know. Maybe you could post something on your Facebook page. Last thing. current film. I'll get this in. I don't care. Current film. You have a film called Storyville, TV movie. I think it's in pre-production, right? It's called Storyville, and you play the character of Norma. I'm not sure what you're allowed to tell us about the project, but if you can, please tell us about, the premise of the film, your character, when will it release, what network, anything you can give us.
The pandemic sort of changed. We were about to start shooting, and the pandemic changed everything. And now, I'm not sure when they're going to start. But Storyville was a part of New Orleans. It was a legal prostitution district, and the U.S. Navy actually drove them out of New Orleans at the beginning of the 20th century. Because they were because they didn't want the soldiers who were going to go off to World War I to spend that much time and money there. It's a fascinating group of women, and it's based on all these women who they had their own agency because they owned their own whorehouses, and some of them are good to the girls who work for them, and some of them are terrible. But the film is full of Star Trek actresses, interestingly enough. Nana Visitor, my business partner, Terry Farrell is in it.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, it's a Marina Sirtis plays just a balls to the wall, tough chick who, when we all realize what's going to happen, she burns down her own whorehouse. I probably shouldn't have revealed that, but
well, hey, it's an incentive to watch it. We want to see it now. So, are they going to continue? I mean, what are they going to do with it?
Yeah, I think the producer is off looking for some dough. So there you go.
I got dough. Tell him to contact me. I donate to all kinds of film projects. You have no idea. I'm giving thousands of dollars away because I have a trust fund. I'm like, I'm going to die. What the hell am I going to do with my money? I don't want the government to take it. So I give to, help donate short films, independent films. So make sure you follow up and have them contact me. I'll donate. All right. Well, I'm Kitty Cat, we could talk for another 3 hours, but unfortunately, I have run over 3 minutes. I'm going to get in big trouble by Sam. Sam's going to get me. So I just want to, real quick, if you want to know more about Kitty, please go to her social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Kitty Swink, KittySwink, and give her a little thumb and follow her, and please go to thepancan.org and donate. Kitty Cat, will you come back when you got maybe when the project is finished in Storyville, we can promote it, talk about it, and continue our conversation?
I would love to.
Yay! Thank you, Miss Kitty Swink. Thank you. Say goodbye to your fans.
Bye.
Bye, fans. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Question Reality. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.